All right, guys, welcome back for another one. Got something a little different for you today. It's been a while since we've done anything from Rockville. Y'all let me know, how long has this series been out? I'm pretty sure this is something relatively new for Rockville. This was viewer suggested, so thank you so much for that. I love the suggestions. Yeah, the whole reason this amp is sitting here today was because of one of you guys, and as y'all can tell, it's been here for, how long has this been here? A week or two? I can't remember exactly, but it's been here for several days, and I have not taken it out of the box yet. So let's do that on camera. Okay. All right, cool looking. This one really interested me when I looked it up on Amazon. And just looking at the amp itself, the things you could see on Amazon about it anyhow, I thought, oh dang, that looks like a newer amp for them. And being rated 1,000 watts, I thought, dang, that might actually be a Rockville that does what it's rated, but look at what we're seeing right here already. 4K. But in the model number, you see that it's a 1K, the RD1000.1. In the listing on Amazon, now I'm kind of wondering, I don't think it said 4K anywhere, honestly. I think that's the first time that I'm seeing that. But that's part of what interested me about it, is thinking that it looked to me like it might actually be, you know, an amp that could do its numbers. All right, let's open this box now and let's get into it. But first, all right, we're back. Still rolling with the same intro we've had for a while. I'd like to do a new intro. I've thought about reaching out to you guys, see if any of y'all was interested in putting together a cool little intro for me. But anyhow, let's get into the amplifier. The RD1000.1 Class D monoblock, 4,000 peak, 1,000 RMS. Let's check out the box here. Are we going to have any ratings? All right. Okay, yes, right here on the bottom. What do we have here? Dyno certified RMS power, rated at less than 1% distortion at 14.4. Dyno tested. That's cool. All right, so 1,000 at 1 ohm, 700 at 2 ohms, 420 at 4. Okay, I can appreciate some ratings like that. Now hopefully it does those numbers. But we have some peak ratings. Oh boy, 4,000 watts at 1 ohm, 2,800 at 2, 1,600 at 4. Fully adjustable, 12 dB bass EQ, RCA preamp line out, dashboard mounted subwoofer control. Rockville.com, QR code for owner's manual and such. Okay, cool. Let's check it out. All right, here we go. Oh, dang. I see a clip light on that bass knob. There's your cable. Here's your bass knob. It's not in a bag or anything, but that's okay. Cool little bass knob, metal, small, very small actually. Look how little the little knob is. That's a lot smaller than normal. But if you're wanting to put this in a small little discreet place, yes, maybe just what you want. But yeah, it's metal. I like that. Power light and clip light. Super cool. All right, so I'm thinking this is going to be a little full bridge amplifier. Owner's manual. So that's good. I was kind of worried that maybe you had to look it up online. Okay. Okay. All right. So we get 2 Allen wrenches, hex keys, whatever you want to call them. What do we get? 5 screws. 1, 2, 3, 6 screws. I wonder what's, oh, for the bass knob. Yeah, so you got 4 there, then 2 they're a little bit shorter. Hopefully I didn't have that off camera too bad. But yeah, that looks good. Warning. I'll check this out, let you know what we got in here. Different ohm loads. That's cool. Now look, I appreciate this right here. I get questions all the time, if you can imagine, about ohm loads and how you hook it up and what the difference is between series and parallel and all that kind of crap. But I really appreciate right here that they're showing 4 subs. You'll see oftentimes 2 subs hooked up, but this is pretty thorough. That's cool. And they've even got it drawn in a way that I think is pretty. If y'all noticed, sometimes when this is drawn out by a manufacturer, it's still drawn maybe in a way that would be confusing to somebody that's not real sure. But I feel like this is pretty clear right here. The little jumpers and stuff. Tell me what you think about that. But I appreciate that they've got 4 showing you the difference there. That's cool. If it's taking me too long to find the ratings, I may just come back with that. All right, here we go. 1,700, 420, 4,000, 2,800, 1,600. Okay, those are the same. Isn't it Rockville, y'all, that would also have like the CEA ratings? Had like a RMS, a max, and a CEA. Isn't that Rockville that does that? 425 amp fuses. Maxi fuses. Built in. Do we have... I don't see them on the outside just yet. We'll check that out here in a second. But, so 100 amps worth of fusing. There's your power and ground. 4 gauge power and ground. 8 gauge for your speaker wires. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, let's check it out, guys. Let's get this thing out of the plastic. This looks like a little 1K to me. We're talking about the full bridge 1Ks that we see so much of these days. That's what this looks like to me. All right, you do typically see, yeah, so it's got the terminals like that we see a lot. You know, having the clip light on the amp and the bass knob. A lot of the little full bridges have that. Yeah, it makes me think those fuses that they're talking about must be internal. I think it looks good. That flat black instead of a gloss black, it's like a flat. I think that looks good. Just black and white. Small, but think about heat dissipation. Our friend Ernest, he's always really good about pointing that out, and he's right. He's dead on the money. You know, everybody wants small amps, tiny, you know, tiny little amps that make a whole lot of power. But as with most things in life, there's good and bad, and that's one of the things about a small little amp is you're dealing with heat dissipation, and especially when you're talking about one that doesn't have a fan. So this amp does not have a fan either. So hopefully that heat sink can do a good job here. All right, so here we go. On this end, we do have power, protect, and clip lights. They're all 3 separate. I like that. Here's the bass boost. They're calling it a bass equalizer from 0 dB to 12 dB. Can y'all see that? We've got some gnats flying around in here today. All right, low pass, 45 hertz to 200 hertz. And then subsonic, 10 hertz to 50 hertz. Input level, min to max. You got, this is cool, look, Tiffany RCAs, inputs and outputs. A set of inputs and a set of outputs. And then here's for, look how that's loose. Y'all see that? That was kind of over to the side just a little bit. But your input for your bass knob, pretty cool. So looking at this, I'm going to have to go back and look at that manual a little bit closer and see if it tells us the frequency ranges here. This is bass frequencies. Normally these little full bridges, and maybe I'm wrong about this being a full bridge, but normally they're full range as well. And so this is interesting. Now you could still have a full range amp. If it's intended to be used for bass, they could still put filters on it to filter those frequencies in that way, but probably won't take the time to do it. But I love opportunities like this to put it on the RTA and play pink noise and see the frequencies that it's given us with the filters opened all the way up. But honestly, you would be limited actually. Yeah, very interesting to me. We'll get the plate off of this at the end of the video. Look at the gut shot, see what we're seeing in here, see if we've got those 325 amp fuses or not. But anyhow, I'll quit rambling so much and let's start getting this thing wired up. All right, real quick, chiming back in. Yeah, this is this amplifier is for subwoofers only. We do have that same frequency response as we saw on the filters there, 10 hertz to 200 hertz. So yeah, little bass amp here. Pretty cool. All right, let's get it wired up. All right, guys, here we go. 4 ohms rated, what was it? Hang on, I've got the manual right here handy. I tell you what, too, before we get to that, I want to give a few shout outs. Number 1, Cyberflex. If this thing survives the dynos, the dyno runs, and hopefully it will, have no reason to believe it won't, we will hook it up to those 215s today. Cyberflex is one of those guys that he's been wanting to see some 15-inch love over there on the subwoofers instead of the 2 SCAR 12s. We're going to do that today. Also, man, huge shout out to Richard out in Arizona. Big time supporter of what I've got going on here the last few months. Thank you so much, Richard. And Cliff and Eva, met them today in person. They're kind of local to me. What a great couple that's part of the community. It was a pleasure meeting you guys today. So let's get on to the dyno run. So yeah, this first run is rated 420 RMS. Of course, they're telling us 1600 max or peak is how they have it listed. But we know that 420 is what we're really looking for. That seems pretty realistic here. We're starting off at 14.8 and we're gonna capture the current. We've been idling at 1.4. 40 hertz for all the testing today, except for the music that will play over on the subwoofers. But here we go. 420 at 4 ohms, 40 hertz. Are we going to see it? Whoa. 505. The clip light did not come on. I tell you what, it's funny that I'm about to say this because it's Rockville. If you know, you know. But I'm gonna turn the gain up a little bit. That's hilarious to me. Geez, that was a good. Let's give it a little more gain. See if we can. Let's reset that. I'm just going to do this all in one take. Let's do that run again. We're still at 14.8 and we pulled 39.0 amps of current. Going to leave it there and see if we get any more current out of it, but let's do that run again with a little bit more gain. We'd like to see this clip light come on, ideally. Here we go. Yeah. 510, y'all saw it was basically right there at it the last time. 14.8, the current, or the voltage did not drop. I do have that in the right. Yeah, and 50.1 amps of current. So yeah, right out of the gate, it's beating that 420. Now we are at 14.8 volts. Their ratings were at 14.4, but keep that in mind. Some vehicles actually charge at 14.8. We have a few here in my household that actually charge at that. So I know a lot of you guys will squawk about you know, testing at 14.8, and every vehicle tests a little bit different, but we have a few that charge at 14.8 around here. Okay, let me get my resistors set up for the 2 ohm testing. You know what? Nope. Getting ahead of myself. Let's do the dynamic testing. Hold on for me just a second and we'll get to that. All right, here we go. Dynamic at 4 ohms. What's it gonna do? So right there around the same 502. Man, that's good power at 4 ohms out of a little guy like this. So cool. All right, let's do the 2 ohm testing. All right, here we go. 2 ohms, starting off at 14.8 again, and gonna capture our current. 40 hertz. You know what? What was that rating again? 700 RMS, 2800 peak. So 700. Are we gonna see it? Here we go. 40 hertz, 2 ohms, rated 700. Oh, you know what? It would help a lot if I turn the amp on. Sorry about that, guys. Here we go. 700. Golly. Okay, 854. The voltage did drop to 14.6, and we pulled 90.7 amps of current. Pretty cool. Y'all forgive my dogs in the background. They're having a good time. All right, let's do 2 ohms dynamic. Here we go, 2 ohms. You know what? These things are about, that one did time out. That means the other one's close to timing out. Here we go. Dynamic at 2 ohms. Nice. 829. Man, that's good, guys. That's some good power out of this little guy. Yeah, I was thinking this looked like an amp that might actually do 1K, and I wish they wouldn't have gave it that 4,000 watt rating. That, I don't know, but so far I like it. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video. We'll talk about what I paid for this. I'll put a Amazon affiliate link in the description if you want to check it out. But let's get to the good stuff. 1 ohm. All right, guys, 1 ohm rated 1,000 watts, 4,000 peak, but 1,000 RMS, and yeah, Dyno certified. RMS. It's been hitting its other numbers, so very pleased to see that. Are we going to see the 1K at 1 ohm, 40 hertz? Let's find out right now. Whoa, 1309, gosh. 14.4, that's perfect. And we pulled 158.8 amps of current. Man, look at Rockville getting down. Please leave off that 4,000 garbage. But what a solid little 1K. Pretty cool. I'm so happy to see this. All right, let's do 1 ohm dynamic. All right, 1 ohm dynamic. What are we gonna see dynamic? I'm excited about this. Here we go. Unpause the track. 40 hertz, 1 ohm. Nice. For it to have headroom like that as well at 1 ohm, man, cool little amp right here. I like it. 1629, gosh, guys, you can get some, you can get pretty loud on that kind of power in your vehicle. So that is so good to see. Let me know what you guys think about this amp, especially with it being a Rockville and what we typically see out of Rockville amps. This one has surprised me. It hit every single RMS number, and then some. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. Let's get this over there. Let's get it hooked up to those Sundown 15s. What a cool little amp to put on some Sundown 15s. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, here we go. We're over here on the 2 Sundown E15s right here on the bottom. Let's see what we gonna get on music. Here we go. Unpause the track. Wow, guys. Oh man, tell me what you think about that. Pretty cool, right? Now look, even dynamic on music, hitting some frequencies that amp's probably happy with. Nowhere near 4,000. Nowhere near 4,000. But I'm happy with the little 1K for sure. Good job, Rockville. And guess what, guys? Sometimes, depending on what you're doing, sometimes you do need a little more gain on the amp. Oh, man. 1811. Wow. Let me know what y'all think, too, about the 15s over here today. The stars of the show today. No, here's the star. Here's the star of the show. All right. let's get back over there. Let's get this thing unhooked. Let's take the plate off the back of it, and let's get you guys a gut shot. I haven't seen the guts yet either, so I'm wanting to see them as well. Let's get to it. All right, guys, here we go. It's the gut shot. 3, 2, 1, bam. All right, check it out. So there's those 4 25 amp fuses. Sure enough. Guys, this thing did great today. Never went into protect, didn't blow any fuses, put out some really nice power flawlessly. It handled everything like a champ. And y'all know these dyno runs on resistors are brutal on an amplifier, and it did a great job. There's that blue board that we see so often. I'm not saying it's the same board, but man, all these little Class D mono blocks, the little small ones, the little mini amps, they are all so similar. This one, there's that model number, so that's cool. Oh, the caps, what were they? 80 volt. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3300 80 volt caps. Pretty cool. So yeah, let me know what you think. This one was a little bit different. We had a little ground over here that went on the corner screw, sandwiched in between the heat sink and the back plate there. That's different. Probably for noise, honestly. It's probably to help keep things nice and quiet there. But let me know what you think. John and Jason and you guys that are so good with these things, I'm not at all. Let me know what y'all think here. Okay, cool. Let's put the plate back on it. Let's fill out the card. Let's talk about how much this thing costs, and we'll wrap it up. All right, guys, y'all let me know what you think. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty cool to see something respectable out of a Rockville. The 4000, golly, y'all know how I feel about that. I get it though. That whole deal with the max ratings, that had never, I understood it. I think we all understand it, right? It's to drive sales. But when I started selling all these amplifiers on Marketplace, boy, I fully understood at that point why these manufacturers do that. Because I resell these things, right? So if I have an amp that's rated 4,000 watts, but it really only does 500, and I've got a video out there, I've got a card in the box, I'm talking to a guy about it. You know, sometimes it comes up, and I don't ever lie or anything like that. But let's say you got a 4K, that's what's written on the box, and it really does 500. I'll sell that amp way quicker than a 500 watt amp that really does 750. It just works, honestly. Even if you're standing there telling a guy, hey, yeah, look, this thing says 4K, but really on my dyno it did 1K. Man, so many times, I'm gonna say 75% of the time, they don't care. You can say, I got this other amp I dynoed a couple weeks ago. It's actually it's a 500, but it did 1200. Now that don't usually happen, but you know, I could say I got an 800 that really did 1200, or I got this 4K that really did 1K. They want the 4K because that's what's written on the box. I mean, I'm not saying nobody ever gets it. There's some that do, but so many of the people that I meet up with, they want what's written on the box. So anyhow, I understand, but I've also got my name on an amplifier that I could call it 8K and sell a bunch more of them, but it's not worth it to me. So it is what it is. But I mean, I do kind of understand, but gee whiz. All right, so what I want to write down on this one is that 1309. I know we saw some nice dynamic numbers higher than that, but my favorite number to write down is that uncertified at the lowest ohm load. Also, speaking of, guys, I've explained this before, but I'll say it again because it's been a while. If you wonder, like, well, why did he get more wattage over there on music than he did on the dynamic run? That don't make sense to me. And here's why. 40 hertz, even though that's kind of the industry standard, is oftentimes not the frequency that the amp is going to give you the most output. It's just kind of the industry standard. The amp, with the combination of the subs and the box and all of that type of stuff, you might get the highest number out of 50 hertz or 60 hertz or something like that. And when we're over there playing music, we're hitting some of those frequencies, and we're wired to 1 ohm, and it's like a dynamic number on those quick hits on some frequencies that amp is just really loving. And that's why you sometimes see higher numbers over there on music than you do over here on 40 hertz. I've tested all this type of stuff off camera. I could take this amp right now and I could test every single individual frequency, and you would see a curve of going up and then back down, and you could get your very best wattage run at the exact frequency. But the industry standard is 40, and so that's what we always use. All right, guys, this amp costs $109.95. I'm a Prime member, so free shipping, but they still get you for tax even when you're a Prime member. So $118.75. I think that's still the current price today. But yeah, let me know what you think. I think that's some decent power for just a smidge over $100, depending on what your budget is. And I don't know. There's a lot of different factors, but I definitely consider this a win as far as price per watt goes. So pretty cool to see that out of Rockville. I cannot remember, but there's a few more amps in this lineup. I can't remember what all they have in this lineup, but I may look and see what else there is from Rockville that would go good on our channel here. I don't know what's up with the gnats, guys. Anyhow, thank you so much for the support. Y'all let me know what you think about this one. We will see you next time.